Zohran Mamdani, Mr. Socialist himself, stick it to the rich, billionaires shouldn't exist, all of that. His whole campaign is funded by billionaires, and it's stolen from poor people as well. I have decided to dig into every dollar that he's made so far in his campaign so far, and it is shocking. We're going to lay it out right here, right now, and for this, let's list it from least hypocritical to the most hypocritical, because there's some crazy stuff in this. Starting with the least hypocritical, funding for Mamdani, he has raised $1.7 million from individual donors. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's fantastic. That's how people should be doing most of their campaigns. I don't know why anyone would give money to this man. I think it's a horrible idea, but they did, and that's perfectly fine, even though it is stupid. Next up, we also have some independent PAC spending. They've spent about $1 million on Mamdani. Independent PAC spending is essentially when PAC, they'll go spend money to promote a certain candidate, but they're not actually giving money to that candidate. So for example, they may have gone out and made an ad for Mamdani, run it without his approval just to promote him. Again, that one, it's fine too. There's really nothing wrong with that. That's very routine in elections. However, this is where we get to extremely hypocritical stuff from Mamdani, and it gets crazy. It really does. It's stuff I've never heard of. So far, we've got $2.7 million Mamdani has raised from what we've talked about. That's totally fine. If we look at the super PACs backed by Soros to promote Mamdani, that figure comes out to $37 million. Guys, that is 14 times as much as those other figures combined. So this guy's whole shtick, again, and here's my deal. This is how we do politics in America. If we want to end that, that's fine. But super PACs are a thing. I'm not saying that that's the problem. There's nothing particularly unethical about it or illegal in America as it stands. But here is the problem. This guy's whole shtick is about billionaires shouldn't exist. That is something he said over and over and over again. And let's be very clear about this. Zohran Mamdani's campaign would not exist without billionaires. He says billionaires should not exist. I say that his campaign should not exist because by his own standards, it shouldn't. And that's what he's saying and not mine. It is stunning to me that socialists like Zohran Mamdani can look you in the eyes over and over and over again and tell you that capitalism is bad while using the funds made by capitalists in order to run their campaigns. AOC does it. Every person on the squad does it. Ilhan Omar does it. Bernie Sanders does it. That's just what they do. And it's crazy and people fall for it. But that is not even the craziest part because we know that Democrats are funded by Soros. This is nothing new. This is where it gets insane. This is where I didn't even know this was a thing. New York City has something called the public matching funds. And what is this, you might ask? Because again, not many places have this. This is very rare. I don't think New York is the only place that has it, but it's one of the only ones. New York has a law in place where for every single dollar you get donated you from individuals within New York City, the city will give you an 8-to-1 match on it. 8-to-1. And that comes out of the taxpayer dollars, whether you support Mamdani or not. So again, New York City is paying Mamdani's fund and the other people for that matter. So he got about $1.7 billion in individual donations. That's not, those are from all individual donations. So that's coming outside of New York as well. And because of that, New York City is giving him over $7 million to give him that 8-to-1 match. And again, that is money that could be used to help the poor by their own argument. It could be for that, the needy, the widows, the orphans, law enforcement, firefighters, infrastructure, you name it. New York City's got plenty of problems. I'm sure they could use the money, even though, probably wouldn't solve it anyway. But again, that's their argument, not mine. Instead of it going to, to those better causes, it is going towards advertising for Zohran Mamdani or maybe paying for his buddies to be in his campaign staff. In other words, the vast majority, and it's not even close, of Zohran Mamdani's money comes from billionaires and money stolen from the citizens of New York. You just can't make this stuff up. I mean, that is crazy to me. You can let me know in the comments down below if you knew about this. This 8-to-1 thing, I just have never heard of it. I've never heard of it in all my years of looking at politics, talking about politics. It's just crazy. Not to mention the fact that Zohran Mamdani is a trust fund baby, which a lot of people have pointed out in the past. His college was paid for. His parents are very wealthy. He admitted in the past that he is a Nepo baby. And look, here's the thing. When it comes to Nepo baby stuff, I don't actually have the same hatred for Nepo babies as most people do. And I'll tell you why. In my experience, Nepo babies don't actually, they're worse off than if their parents had just taught them to work. Like, I don't think it's a privilege, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think if you've been raised in that way, I think your parents have screwed up. I don't want to be anything like Zohran Mamdani, essentially is what I'm saying. So being a Nepo baby isn't something that we should be angry about. I think we should actually pity how pathetic their parents' parenting style is. In any case, at the end of the day, all of Mamdani's upbringing and campaign finances would be surprising if you've never studied socialists, because this is what socialists do every single time without fail. They are leeches on society. Surprisingly enough, Bill Maher hates Zohran Mamdani and sees him for the leech he is, which Bill Maher, sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. He's spot on this, and he fought his guest, Tyler Cohen, very well on it. Take a look.
New York is New York. It's definitely it's the media capital, the financial capital. It is a bellwether like no other city is in this country. So don't tell me that who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say, on the seize the means of production, do you think that the mayor, that one person, if he is a democratic socialist, do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to, usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
I think the Republicans are going to...
When you let the Democrats, socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which work so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela, just bad ideas. And again, this ugly streak, streak of anti-Semitism.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's Bernie? Bernie is Bernie is. I mean, he's not a capitalist.
No, he's not, and he's also not president.
He's not. But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will, trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him.
So he's absolutely right about it being a commercial for Republicans. I mean, this is why I endorsed Zohran Mamdani in the primary. The day before, this is a good story, the day before the primary, I came out and I endorsed him. I said, I want Zohran Mamdani to win. And he was down in the polls by about 8%, and then he won. It was because of my final endorsement. I take full credit for it. And the reason why I endorsed him, I'm joking. The reason why I endorse him is I want Americans to see what a socialist does. I do. Because unless you're from Eastern Europe or Cuba, socialism has left your mind. It's not fresh in the mind, especially in my generation and the millennial generation, which are now voting. I mean, we just don't remember the USSR. The USSR fell 10 years before I was born. And so I know socialism doesn't exist, or doesn't work, rather. It does not. It might exist in a vacuum, but it does not work in real life, is what I mean to say. But a lot of people in my generation, and even the generation before me, do not remember that at all. And I think New York could be the perfect wake-up call for America at large. It's sad that we have to, sacrifice a certain amount of years in one of our greatest cities for that, but I think it might be a sacrifice that we have to make. So in a way, like I said, I hope he wins, and I hope everyone can see what a fraud he is and how awful his policies are, really. One way that you could see how awful his policies are, by the way, Elizabeth Warren is promoting them now. And Elizabeth Warren is one of the worst. She is so horrible. If she's promoting something, you know it's wrong. Take a look at her with Mamdani saying he is the future of the Democrat Party.
When someone stands up and says, I will lead this city by making it more affordable, and here are my plans, real plans to deliver on childcare, plans to deliver on housing, plans to deliver, we're going to experiment, we're going to try things on groceries. That is the Democratic message.
Yeah, we're going to experiment with Soviet grocery store. It's just an experiment. It's an experiment, guys. We're going to see if we can do the exact same thing that socialists have done to Cuba and Russia, but we're going to do it right here in New York City. Great plan, Democrats. I'm sure that will work out really well for you. However, in 2026 and 2028, you're going to lose big time because of it. Just because something isn't in someone's name does not mean it's not theirs. And Gray Ledger, my partner, follows the paper trails most people don't even see, flagging hidden assets, tracing vehicles, properties, or companies back to their true holders, useful in disputes, background checks, and quiet personal investigations. Gray Ledger, they find what you think is buried. Visit grayledger.carrd.co or head to the link in the description below. Jasmine Crockett, the horrible and deeply disturbed congresswoman from Texas, was on CNN and openly said that white Americans are stupid and low IQ when talking about Donald Trump. Take a look.
I want people to see him and understand who he is. This is a person that has a problem with people of color, period. I don't care how many black MAGA out there with their hats. I want to be clear, when we look at who it is that he's kicking out of this country as people of color, when we look at who he always disrespects and says that they are low IQ, even though when you look at his cabinet, this has to be the most incompetent cabinet we have ever had in the history of this country. When we're talking about people that literally have the ability to drop bombs or order that bombs be dropped or make recommendations that bombs be dropped, and they literally don't know how to get the signal chat right. So we're talking about low IQ individuals, but so long as they say that this guy is their guy, and usually if they work for a certain news network, that's the only qualification that's necessary.
So she starts off by saying how awful it is to call someone low IQ, which I agree. I think that's a horrible thing to say to someone. And then she proceeds to call Trump's cabinet low IQ because they are mostly white. She has contradicted herself in less than 15 seconds. And by the way, if we want to talk about IQ is an actual measurable thing. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. It does vary race by race. So let's look at it, shall we? Jasmine Crockett. The highest IQ on average is East Asians, 105. The average is 100. White Europeans is 100. They're pretty much average. Less than that, Latinos, 90 to 95. African Americans, 85. Sub-Saharan Africans, 70. And Indigenous Australians are at 65. So with all of that said, I take that on an individual level. I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing it on a racial level. It's just a fact. But this is where meritocracy comes in. I don't care what your race is. I really don't care, because I don't care what your IQ is either, by the way, because IQ is not the only measurement of the value that you can produce. That's what meritocracy is about. IQ might be one thing, but your hard work might be, some of your, value might come in your personality or your connections with people. That's what I care about overall, more than race and IQ. Jasmine Crockett, though, shows her contempt and hate for people based on their IQ, which she misrepresents, by the way, because as we just showed, Europeans are exactly average on IQ worldwide. So even what she's saying is misrepresented in the first place. Even though she represents all kinds of races in her district, she makes it incredibly clear that she's racist and hates people on the basis of their race. And that's my main problem. She runs a district in Texas that has Hispanics, black people, white people, Native Americans. Just because she's black does not mean she is the black congresswoman. She should be there for Texans and America. Here's a video, by the way, of her talking about how awesome her melanin is. It kind of never ending with Jasmine Crockett. She talks about how awesome her melanin is and how it clearly is what she identifies with the most. Not American, not Texan. Take a look.
I am Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, but I am standing here with one of my faves right here, honey. Yes. Listen, and guess what? Neither one of us are in Texas. You know why? Because we know that it is time to stand up, rise up, and fight back against these fools that think that we're weak. One thing that they should know, when it comes to a black woman and a Latina,
that's right,
they're about to get a little spice, okay? And that's exactly what they got. So right now we are fighting for our rights in this country. We are fighting for democracy. And I just want y'all to know that I'm standing 10 toes down with my homie, the representative from the great state of Texas.
That's right.
Yes.
You can see right there that even her Democrat colleague is terrified. She doesn't want to be identified with that at all. At the end of the day, Jasmine Crockett is nasty, and I look forward to her constituents voting her out of Congress in 2026. The progressive left is a cult, guys. I talk all about it in my book, A New Cult. I talk about some crazy, crazy stories about how leftists are infiltrating universities, businesses, you name it. Things that are just dystopian and crazy as all heck. Things I can't talk about on YouTube. Frankly, go check it out right now. It's on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please like the video so other great patriots like yourselves will see it. And you can tune in every single weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show, or you can watch another video right here.